back live with Radio. That's Radio on UrbanNationRadio.com. And this is episode 26 for those just tuning in. We are live with myself, co-host Mindful B,
Kojo Lee,
Info Key.
and today's episode, as like I said, is episode 26. Our special guest is Brother Rudolph Muhammad, and he's been doing disaster preparedness and working with the community for several years. And now we have basically a survivalist, and the topic of the show is a day in the life of the survivalist. So we have him on the line via phone, and so we want to give him a chance to tell the people, greetings to the people. Brother Rudolph, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And we're gonna turn your mic down a little bit. You can still speak up though. How you feeling tonight?
Oh, brother, I'm alone. Okay. Thank God for that.
All right. Yes. Yeah, I know our plans didn't happen the way we wanted them to, but we're glad to have you present nonetheless.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna read a couple things from your bio that you provided, and then I'm gonna get into some of the questions that we had for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. It says Rudolph T. Muhammad is a disaster management specialist. He has also assisted with the coordination of many disaster preparedness programs, disaster relief efforts, rescue and recovery operations, and logistical supply and support operations for disaster victims. He has a wealth of field experience and technical knowledge, making him a valuable asset in this field. Mr. Muhammad is committed to educating people so that they are prepared and equipped to prevent total destruction in the case of a disaster. More importantly, he wants to aid in developing individuals and organizations to meet the needs of readiness in every facet of life. He is often heard to say the community is no better prepared than its least prepared individuals. Sound like something we say. Disasters will cause the unprepared population to be unfairly victimized due to preventable cause. His devotion and mission is directly related to those who have not been given adequate access to this life-saving information. And so I just want to read that piece of it. For those of us that have seen the post on Facebook, we have a link to his bio if you want to read the rest of it. So, Brother Rudolph Muhammad, can you share some information on kind of give us an overview of? I covered a couple things, but you want to give us a general overview of who you are and what it is that you do?
Yes, I will. I have to thank the Almighty and wise Creator for another chance and another opportunity in His wonderful creation all life. It's only through His divine mercy and blessings that I'm able to talk to you today. I thank Him for, of course, my mother and my father for birthing me, and then for blessing me to get into this field and to have a body of knowledge that I'm able to transfer to people who are not professionals in this field. And that's the main purpose of what I do, is because generally when something happens, the professionals are already taken care of. They have their infrastructure, they have their resources, they have their plan. It's the average person in society, John and Thing Q public, that generally catch the brunt of the disaster and then end up running from pillar to post, trying to regain their property, their valuables, and put their lives back together. And that's who I primarily am trying to educate.
Excellent. So go ahead.
So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I'm a retiree of the Fire Department of the City of New York, Bureau of EMS. I'm a military veteran of the United States Navy. My actual field of expertise is emergency medicine, pre-hospital care, as well as fire and life safety. So those are the areas that I specialize in. But I have had experience in every aspect of emergency management at some point or another in my short 52 years on this front.
That's great. So the first question that I had was, what's the most important advice that you would give someone who's just beginning to, get into this prepping lifestyle?
The most important advice I could give a person is, one, understand who you are and what your role is in life. Develop a relationship with your Creator, because you're going to need to be spiritually grounded as you go through the different disasters, because the things that you're going to see, it's going to rock your socks. And what's really going to help you to maintain, again, is a good relationship with your Creator and a good understanding of who you are and your limitations.
That's great advice, and that just brought me back to a point that you made during the seminar that you did this weekend, where you talked about you potentially may see dead bodies, and a lot of what you were talking about. You talked about too about how detrimental it is to panic in those type of situations. I think you had wrote in the notes what panic was.
I actually did. I was going to get to that. It says here, well, for my notes, it says that panic, and this is one of those vocabulary terms for those. This is going to entering them into our word of the week. One of the words is panic, and it says panic is when fear overrides your cognitive ability. And then I wanted to kind of you to Brother Muhammad to expand on that. I said panic is when fear overrides your cognitive ability. So we're already talking about your ability to think. So we want to expand on that.
Yes, sir. Fear. Fear is one of the most detrimental things to anybody at any given time, but especially going through a disaster. Fear will paralyze you and prevent you from actually moving when you need to move, thereby causing you to actually get caught up in a situation that can cost you your life and those who are depending on you their lives. And the main thing that we have to realize about fear is manageable. Fear is comparable. The only reason that people are fearful of things is because they're ignorant of whatever the situation is. So the unknown tends to scare the Jesus out of all of us. So the antidote to that is to fill your head with the knowledge necessary so that when the situation arises, not if, when it arises, you have a body of knowledge that you can apply to it, and then through the proper training and going through your drills on a regular basis, it will get your muscles ready to perform the feats or the duties that they need to perform, and you will go through it almost mindlessly if you practice it enough. I always tell people, how did you learn to tie your shoe? And whatever age you are right now, do you think about tying your shoes in the morning? Or when you put your shoes on, do you have to sit there and think, left over right, right over left, pull, loop, around, pull through? You don't have to go through that anymore. Why? Because you've done it every day of your life that you learn. And so it's the same thing with the skills necessary for disaster preparedness. Once you learn them and you practice them on a regular basis, when the need arises, before your brain kicks in, your body is already fully engaged because of muscle memory. So that's, that's the way I'll answer that.
Okay, I have a question as well in regarding to if you can give us some examples of certain scenarios that you've experienced, maybe some interesting ones, some common ones, so that people can understand what may happen or what things they neglect or have taken for granted that isn't happening, that could happen, so that they can at least begin some research into how to deal with these scenarios. So just maybe some life experiences you've gone through.
All right, well, let me start with this one. I was one of the responders for 9/11 in New York City when the Twin Towers collapsed. I was one of the first responders in at the time, and for the grace of God, I'm still here to talk to you today because my entire hazmat team lost their lives. Now, why I'm not with them, again, it's only through the grace of God, because we all did respond on that day. But what I can say is, when you go through your drills and you practice the things you see, it's just certain safeguards. One of the biggest rules for us is scene safety. And what that means is that, is this scene safe for me to be here? Regardless of what else is going on, regardless of how many patients may be there, is the scene safe for me? That's the first question. Is it safe for my partner? That's the second question. And if the answer is no to either one or two, then all evidence and training tells us we should not be there. That means that it's more than we can physically deal with. We're in over our heads, and we need to pull out, radio in, and wait for the proper resources. If one practices that religiously, 90% of the time, you will be spared and won't end up in a catastrophic situation because you will never allow yourself to be sucked into a situation based off of emotion, because you will always be thinking safety. Now, in the event that you do get caught into something and you cannot get out, now is when you must remain calm and think your way through every step of the game. Because again, one wrong move, one wrong thought, one wrong reaction could be catastrophic. So between 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Ike, Sandy, some of the hurricanes I was involved in the Navy, on board a ship, it really doesn't matter what the situation is, the response is always, or should always, be the same. But the main thing is you have to be calm enough to put things into play.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to take a quick break, and we'll come back to you.
Yes, sir.
And so that's we're with Brother Rudolph Muhammad, and giving you information on firsthand information on disaster preparedness, live from the scenes like 9/11, Katrina, and even in Haiti. So we're gonna come back after another break and bring you some more information with this great brother. And just stay tuned. UrbanNationRadio.com/live. Urban Nation Radio. We'll see you soon. Muhammad, 30-year veteran in this emergency preparedness, disaster preparedness, and action field. And so, you still there, Brother Rudolph?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So we got to speak with some of our callers on the line. Everybody's excited about getting this information. I had a question to kind of help us frame this conversation. This episode is entitled "Conversation with a Survivalist: A Day in the Life of a Survivalist." And one of the questions you used the term disaster preparedness and disaster management. Can you define what exactly is disaster management, so then we can then get bring it closer to home, so we can get some practical uses out of the information?
Yes, sir. Okay. Two different terms: disaster preparedness and disaster management. Disaster management is the ability to effectively utilize the resources that are available and the resources that are necessary to get you through whatever the situation is. That's management.
Yes.
So, of course, when we talk about disaster management, we're talking about someone who has the capacity to supervise people, to properly allocate resources, and to understand the situation that they're in, and then make split decisions based on the changing environment that the rescuers are in or are going to. When we're talking about disaster preparedness, we're talking about individual preparedness. Each individual are getting themselves ready to deal literally with whatever situation comes along, so that one, they are not victimized by whatever the situation is. Two, they do not become a drag on to the structure or the powers that be, and will not have to be, you won't have to worry about allocating city services to those individuals because they're holding their own for right now. And three, disaster preparedness mainly is a body of knowledge that a person studies, a plan that they put into effect, and the training that they go through prior to something happening, so that when it happens, they can effectively operate.
Wow, that was complete. So I definitely hope that the listeners and viewers can now see how this applies in many different aspects.
Yeah, we heard you mention in your bio how, and even as you spoke earlier about the pre-hospital preparation and having different medicines, and we were wondering if you could share some of those herbs or techniques that you utilize in emergency situations, so that people can actually have something to take away from this segment.
Yes, sir. Okay, let me make this disclaimer right now before we get into this. I am not anyone's personal care provider, physician, or nurse that's on the line. I am merely one who is in the field that is offering ideas and not even solutions. I'm just offering ideas of what a person can do ahead of time that may help them when they go through a disaster. Where medicines are concerned, again, when we're talking about disaster preparedness, and I'm going to be repetitious on this, some people may, say, hey, just keeps repeating itself. And I will continue to repeat myself and sound like a broken record until the listeners understand that the key to disaster preparedness is you, the individual. As long as individuals are not prepared, then it doesn't make a difference about the community, because the community can never be prepared. The community is only as prepared as its least prepared individual. So every able-bodied man, woman, boy, and girl must be prepared to take care, to be self-reliant in taking the necessary actions during a catastrophe or an incident. So, where medicines are concerned, if you know that you have a pre-existing medical condition, then what you need to do is you need to study for yourself, okay, if I run out of my medication at any given point, what are the foods that I can eat that can help maintain me until I can get my medication? What are the herbs that I can utilize? What are the vitamins, the minerals, the supplements that I can utilize to stabilize myself until I can get to a medical institution and get the proper medication that I'm going to need? So again, it goes back to the individual and them having a good working knowledge of their own medical history, and then being able to do the things necessary. Let me give you an example. For instance, and again, I already gave the disclaimer, I'm not prescribing, pre-dosing, or diagnosing anyone's condition. I am an asthmatic, a very bad asthmatic. So I normally have my inhaler, but what happens if my inhaler runs out or I lose my inhaler? Well, I know that at the very onset of a bout of difficulty breathing, if I don't have my inhaler, if I can get a cup of hot, strong, black coffee, then I know that that will open me up enough, that will dilate my lungs, my bronchioles, my bronchial tubes, the tubes or the pipes that bring air into my lungs, that will allow them to open up enough where I can get air in until I can get to an actual facility. But again, is this a cure or is this a treatment that I'm recommending to everybody? No, it's not. This is just something that I know in the case of an emergency, I can utilize to buy myself some time. Just being an asthmatic. So I'll stop with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great information. A question I had was, what skills would you recommend people start learning to be more prepared?
Excellent question. And what I would recommend for every listener on this line, everybody needs to learn CPR, the choking procedure, and basic first aid. CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. When a person's heart stops, knowing how to restart their heart or simply circulate oxygen-rich blood to keep their brain cells alive until professional help arrives. By pushing on the person's chest, in the center of their chest, pushing hard and pushing fast, what you're doing is you're circulating the oxygen-rich blood that's already in their system, and you're keeping their brain cells alive until help arrives. 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen, brain cells begin to die. Once brain cells die, body functions that were connected to those brain cells are lost forever. So now it becomes a quality of life issue if the person does come back. What would their quality of life be if they've gone without oxygen for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Basic first aid. If a person is bleeding, knowing how to stop the bleeding to keep the blood in the person's body. The average adult only has about 6 liters of blood in their body. The average child only has about the amount of 2 liter soda bottles that's the amount of blood in the average child's body. And the average infant only has about the amount of blood that's in a 12-ounce can of soda. To the child and the infant, a loss of 10% of that can be detrimental to them and can send them into a condition known as shock that could be fatal for them. So again, the objective is to learn how to keep the blood inside the body. So knowing how to get direct pressure, how to apply a pressure bandage, how to apply a tourniquet if necessary to stop bleeding so that a person can keep the blood inside their body and keep oxygen-rich blood circulating. So definitely speaking on basic first aid, like I said, the choking procedure. When a person can't breathe because they have a foreign body lodged in their throat, knowing how to dislodge that object will help them to live and to be the difference between life and death. And that's for adults, children, and infants. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Appreciate it. I had another question. You talked about fear a little bit earlier, and I know that there's people who, you know, will be afraid. And so my question is, for those who are more calm, is there any techniques or things you've seen work in the field where it allowed the person to calm down on some level, so they didn't panic and jeopardize the whole team? Is there any technique?
Yes, breathing. And it sounds crazy. It sounds very, you know, just real silly to say that, but just learning how to breathe.
That sounds brilliant.
When a person's learning how to breathe, when a person gets excited, generally what happens is they begin to hyperventilate, meaning they start breathing real fast, and in breathing real fast, what happens is they do not give their body a chance to process the oxygen that they're breathing in, so the gas exchange never takes place. What happens with breathing is a twofold or a two-dimensional thing. You inhale. Everybody, when you inhale 21% oxygen. That's how much is in atmospheric air. You exhale 16% CO2 or carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the waste product of breathing or respiration. So it's like when you eat, you go to the bathroom. Well, when you breathe, when you inhale oxygen, you exhale the wasted air. If that wasted air does not come out, you can poison your body because now your body is building up with CO2 and you don't have oxygen to circulate to all of your tissue. So if a person can learn how to slow their breathing down and learn how to effectively breathe through a disaster or a situation, it can reduce anxiety and it can lessen the fear within them and give them the oxygen needed to have a clear head and make clear thoughts and the energy for their muscles to do whatever task they need to do. So practice breathing exercises.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's not as crazy as to me at least, because as a meditator, I understand the importance of the breath.
Yes, sir.
And not only that, like this is we kind of talked about in one of some of the earlier episodes how redefining what we call emergencies and disasters and being able to see how frequently they actually happen. Whether it's you need money for rent, that's an emergency. Whether you don't have enough food, that's an emergency. And so these things, not just looking at a tornado as a disaster, but looking at things that happen more commonly, stress at work, these things that lead to emergencies, and how the tools and action steps that we're giving apply directly to those. Breathing, literally.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I always tell people, when we talk about disasters, we're talking about natural disasters, which are things that we have no control over. Man-made disasters, which we actually cause. And technological disasters based on the technology that we have now that we rely so heavily on. When it fails us, we go into a tailspin because we're so spoiled by the technology. But disasters simply means that your resources are not up to par with what the condition is. So anytime you have a situation where your condition outweighs the amount of resources you have, you're in a disaster.
Yeah.
And that's the best definition of disaster.
It's interesting because I think sometimes we overlook the simple things. Like, for example, I have an 11-month-old son, and the other night he was crying, and we didn't know what it was. Like, he's always peaceful, but this night he just cried and cried. And so my wife was like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And she started to panic. But I mean, in this situation, that's an emergency because he can't talk to us and tell us what's going on. At the same time, we have to remain calm so we can truly understand what's going on. So it's not always, a tree's falling on your house, or you're in Alaska stranded on the side of the road. It could be just your son is crying, or your neighbor's coming over distressed. It's a lot of different things that could happen.
Right. And again, as I said earlier, once you start getting into this disaster preparedness, disaster mitigation paradigm, and the behavior switches, you'll realize that it doesn't matter whether it's a Category 5 hurricane, a tidal wave, a person standing in front of you with a gun, or, just the fact that the lights went out in your house or it's a gas leak. Your response is always exactly the same.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I wanted to share, you were talking about in your definition of panic. Panic is when fear overrides your cognitive ability to deal with the situation, and it gave me another way to look at being prepared. Like when you're prepared for you don't panic. You may have an initial feeling that you don't like the situation. It's not a favorable situation, but if you drop me in water, I'm gonna be like, why am I in water? But I'm also gonna realize that I know how to swim, and that's a whole different situation from somebody being dropped in water that does not know how to swim. It's a completely different situation. And so you can even say that panic is when there's no need to panic when you are prepared. When you're prepared for a situation, panic kind of goes out of the door. It gives you a certain peace of mind to be able to move in these scenarios in a powerful way. And so that's kind of what.
We have something that we say amongst ourselves, the 5 P's. Proper performance prevents proper planning poor performance.
That's right.
5 P's. Proper planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
And we utilize that religiously, even amongst ourselves as professionals, constantly, over and over again, because it's a reality check for us, so that we don't become complacent and then lose sight of the basics and get not just ourselves caught up, but then our whole team caught up. Because in a disaster, everyone is dependent on the next person.
Exactly. And we gotta just dropping jewels over here. We got to take a quick break, but I did want to share that we have been talking about on a couple earlier episodes about what we called our 12 P's, and which I learned in college. And it was I don't know if I can share. I guess this is our show. We can say what we want to say. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Piss poor performance promotes pain. 10 to 12 P's. So with that, we're gonna take you to commercial break. we're gonna take you to a commercial break with that one, and tune back in with more dropping jewels from Brother Rudolph Muhammad, our survivalist on the line. This is Radio on UrbanNationRadio.com. Peace and power.
Bruce Leroy, here I go. With this flow, here I go. Here I go. Said they gon' hate the way I flow. I'm Bruce Leroy with this flow. Here I go. Yeah, here I go. Said they gon' hate the way I glow. I'm Bruce Leroy with this flow. Here I go. Yeah, here I go. Swear they gon' hate the way I
and teaching people and certifying people in first aid and emergency preparedness. It seems like you have a mobile CERT program.
Yes, we do. What we do is check anybody in any community, anywhere in the world that wants to learn. All you have to do is contact us, and we don't charge, per se, for the information. All we tell you to do is assist us in getting to you, and then we can hold the workshops and do the trainings for whoever you have in mind. And there's no specific number of people that we require. Like some people say you have to have 30 people, and then no. If you get 5 or 10 people together in the privacy of your own living room, we can bring this program directly to you with actual, practical, hands-on application to certain skills that you're going to need to master when we're talking about disaster preparedness. So all a person has to do again is contact us, and if you go to our website, it's Care Unit Detroit 911 at the email address is, and this is all spelled out one word, CARE, C-A-R-E, Unit, U-N-I-T, Detroit, D-E-T-R-O-I-T, live, L-I-V-E.com. Care Unit Detroit 911 at live.com is our email address. The website is Care Unit Detroit at Weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y.com.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time. You put an @ sign.
We're trying to get this on our page so people can have it.
Say the website again. You said an @ sign. I know it's not an @ sign in the website.
Yes, the website is Care Unit Detroit.
Care Unit Detroit.
Yes, C-A-R-E, Care Unit Detroit. Weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y.
Okay.
.com.
Okay. Say that all together for me.
Care Unit Detroit at Weebly.com.
.weebly.
Yeah. Care Unit Detroit .weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y.com. All right.
Yeah, it's in the post too.
Yeah.
That we use that website with your bio on it. So we got the website posted for anybody who saw the episode post, for, detailing what the episode would be about. We put the link at the bottom of the description. So if you see the where it says full bio, that's the website.
That's right. Not everybody that needs audio can have it
in the comments.
If the listeners go to the website, there's a tab that will take them to a form that says if you want to get this program in your community where you live at, just fill out that form and send it in, and someone will contact you, and we'll start working on how we can get the team to you to actually do the presentation. It's an action. The awareness part of the presentation is about 4 hours. The actual workshop can go anywhere from 8 hours to 30 hours because we are also CERT, Community Emergency Response Team Training trainers. We're actually trainers. So we can come to your area, and if you don't have a CERT team in your area, we can actually create CERT teams in the different communities that are not covered by CERT teams now. You can get certified in CPR and first aid if that's your desire. We do teach and certify people. And when I say certified means that your name goes into a registry that is documented with whether it's the American Heart Association, National Safety Council, or American Safety and Health Institute. And it's good for 2 years, and it's a professional certification that may help you on your job or help you to get a job with that professional certification. So we do that also. And if the person doesn't want to be certified, you just want to learn, we will teach you the things that you need to know, from preparing a go bag to making a evacuation plan for you and your family, to doing fire drills in your home where you live at, to doing disaster assessment of your current living environment. So these are all the things that we go around the country and around the world doing. And I say the world because a group of my people are in Haiti right now as we speak. And groups of my people have been there since 96 hours after the infamous Haiti earthquake a few years ago.
And we thank you for that that support that you provided, that real, genuine support that you provided there, and continue to provide. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is my life's work.
On that note, actually, we did have a question on what was the most interesting place that, you know, this preparedness lifestyle has taken you.
The most interesting. Well, I would have to say Louisiana, the Ninth Ward, would be the most interesting due to the dynamics that were involved in it and the circumstances surrounding it. I would say that was really the most interesting. But I would say the most challenging is anytime we have to leave this country and go into another country to assist someone or to do something, because when you're going into another country, you don't have the ability to really travel with all of your gear the way that you need to, the way you train to, and the way that you're comfortable doing. So now you really have to make do with the things that you have. And that's where your in-depth knowledge of the information really comes in handy, because it's about adaptation and improvisation. Learning how to adapt to your surroundings and improvise for the things that you need, but that only comes with a well-rounded knowledge of your curriculum and a good understanding of what it is you're dealing with.
I have a question related to that. How often do you suggest that once you've taken the training, how often, or maybe you haven't taken the training, how often do you suggest that people practice these drills or skills?
Please try your call again later. Announcement 8 switch to 1-8.
That was new. So basically, we're gonna try to get our caller back. We're not sure what the powers that be are doing for our lines right now. We're gonna call Brother Rudolph right back.
Probably ran through a pocket of no service.
Possibly, he's actually in travel and in transport right now,
yeah.
in transit.
He's coming from Chicago.
Yeah, peace. Yeah, we had a little issue with the phone line, so we got you back.
Okay, said all circuits are busy. Yeah, the question I was asking you is how often, how frequent do you suggest these trainings happen? You know, practicing these skills. We know, ideally we would be doing them every day, but realistically, how often do you think that those trainings should happen?
Well, I would suggest to a novice, a new person, just into this discipline. Once you learn something, I would say at least 2 or 3 times a week. If it's a skill that you have, you need to practice it. Whether it's the choking procedure, CPR, learning how to bandage or split something, learning how to utilize a piece of equipment, those type of things where it takes skill that you need, the skill of you actually performing something and mastering the skill about 2 or 3 times a week. And as you get more familiar and more comfortable with it, then maybe, once or twice a week just to keep the cobwebs out, so to speak.
Sure. So, unfortunately, we got to take another break, and just stay tuned. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back with more information from Brother Rudolph, and getting really more into some takeaways that y'all can come back with, throughout this week. So he's already telling us that we need to be doing this 3 times a week. And for those that are veterans, well, I don't know many of them. I'm looking at one right here. So some stuff to really keep in mind. 3 times a week, 2 times a week if those are veterans. So this is Radio, UrbanNationRadio.com. We'll be back in a few moments after these messages. Peace.
My horse just ain't no slave. I'm a king. What the fuck you mean?
Peace and power. We're back live with Radio on UrbanNationRadio.com. We got Brother Rudolph Muhammad. This episode is episode 26. Day in the life of a survivalist. 30 years in the game in this emergency preparedness scene. So we're getting as many takeaways and as many jewels as we can. And so, Brother Muhammad, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So we got about 30 more minutes. We're gonna try to power out as many of these questions as we can and get the viewers and listeners feedback and takeaways so they can get started with their new prepper lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
Well, the advice that I normally give people is kind of take $5 a week and just purchase a few items. And with that $5 a week, what would you suggest people start with?
Well, I would tell you that there are 2 major or main items that everybody should have. One is a good multi-tool. Now, this is dealing with your budget. You know what you can afford. You know what is not going to kill your family's budget. But everybody can afford to do something in the way of being prepared and getting prepared. So a good multi-tool. So the second item is a good flashlight. And when I say a good flashlight, I'm talking about a light that gives you distance. As far as how many lumens you're looking for, that's optional. But the main thing is you want to be able to at least see at least 5 to 10 yards in front of you, if not more, with that flashlight. It should be waterproof and it should be sturdy that if you drop it, it doesn't break. A good pair of work gloves so that you can protect your hands. And if N95 mask to go over your nose and mouth to protect your respiratory system, a pair of non-latex rubber gloves, of course, you should never be found without a bottle of water or something to drink, and some type of food item should always be with you. Some type of protein item. And after you're not eating to get full, you're eating to get energy to do the things that somebody needs to do.
That's right.
Of course, your attire needs to be climate appropriate. So for whatever geographic region you live in, you need to dress for the occasion. A good sturdy pair of work boots is always good to have. A whistle in order to alert someone of something or to call attention to yourself. A compass, so you can always know what direction you're going in, or a GPS, a portable GPS, in order to know where you're going or where you need to go. So those are just some of the and a pair of swimmer's goggles in order to protect your eyes from the different elements that are out here. So those are just, like I said, some of the items that are must-have items that everyone has. Just think about it. Just about everybody nowadays carries a backpack, a knapsack, women carry pocketbooks, okay? These items are all small enough that they can go into those bags and they're heavy and they don't take up a lot of space. But they can help you out immensely if you end up getting stranded somewhere.
And what you just described was all the contents of an EDC bag or everyday carry. We went over that probably like 10 episodes ago, but it's definitely still relevant. And we'll post all of these. I wrote them all down, so we'll post them in the comments on the website, to let people know what they need to have. But yeah, that's definitely, right on point.
We also have, I know you're not able to tune in online and be able to see us visually, but we have a similar display to what you had at the event this past Saturday. We got some rope, we got some duct tape. We went over a couple episodes ago.
Okay, good. On the rope, what you should have been anything is better than nothing. But what you want to try and strive for is power cord.
Power cord.
Power cord, 550. What that means is that this rope is able to hold up to at least 550 pounds on the cord, so that it doesn't pop on you, and it's strong enough to lower yourself or raise yourself up as well as your gear.
Paracord.
Power cord,
Power cord.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people wear paracord bracelets too.
Yes.
Right. Right. You see those bracelets that people are wearing, looks like for fashion. Well, most people are wearing them for fashion now, but for us, it's survival. Because this is the enough cord around our wrist to do something with, to help save someone's life. So that's why we wear it.
Yep, and just briefly, some of the other things that we have are we have a first aid kit, some batteries, of course a flashlight. We have a 3-in-1 whistle, which is 3-in-1. It's a super whistle. It's a whistle, a thermometer, and a compass. And we also
all in one.
Yep, and we also have a I want to say this is a Russian gas mask on display.
Okay.
And some of these items we actually buy in bulk and sell as a part of our cooperative.
Right. Now, where the gas masks are concerned, what I'll just tell people is, with gas mask, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the filters that you are using for your gas mask are good filters. That's all. That's the only thing I'm going to say about the gas mask.
That's right.
And just remember that not all filters fit all gas masks.
That is correct.
Be very particular about that, because you're talking about an item that you're going to use to save your life.
Exactly. And that was a conversation that I definitely had with the clerk with choosing which gas masks and looking at which filters. So I actually bought about 3 or 4 extra filters, and I was surprised to find out that these things only have about a day, less than a day of the filter. Each filter has about a day of oxygen filtration in it, and I was kind of surprised. So it's like a whole nother level of preparedness, just if you're going that route. So it was you know, it's always something new to learn, you know.
Yes, sir.
Another thing, I saw you walking around with a book. Was that a book that you actually wrote, or is that a book that you recommend?
No, I definitely recommend it. I did not write it, but H.R. Edwards, the executive director of the International Preparedness Network, IPN, he wrote that book. Here's a website for the listeners. This is all spelled out one word. ReadyForAnything.org. Ready, ReadyForAnything.org. ReadyForAnything.org. That's the website for the International Preparedness Network for the H.R. Edwards. He is the executive director, and these are people from all over the world that combine their skills and their knowledge and put it together on that website to help people out that, you know, want to learn about this stuff. So there are items on there, there are articles, there are places to get equipment from that we actually dealt with manufacturers that gave them specs of what we wanted in particular equipment. And if they agree to it, then we allow them to advertise on the site, because we know that the equipment works and that it's for a specific purpose.
And I also like to shop at the military surplus stores, because the standard for military equipment is a lot higher than civilian equipment. So, you know, that's a great resource to utilize.
Correct. And the one question I will say to new people in this, be very careful about just purchasing things that people are offering you, telling you that it's for disaster preparedness, it does this, it does that. Do your homework first, because disasters are big business. Disasters are a lot of money. Like with everything else, yes, as we are brothers and sisters who are trying to help out other brothers and sisters sincerely, but there are other people who are looking to capitalize on the fear that runs through people during disasters, and people get filthy rich during disasters.
Yeah, called disaster capitalists.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people are fear mongers too. They, you know, create the panic and, you know, the undue panic to sell different things.
Yeah, because for them, it pays.
Yeah, one thing you spoke.
Another website.
Go ahead.
Another website that I just want to give the family is BSVAC. B as in boy, S as in Sam, V as in Victor, A as in Apple, C as in Charlie. BSVAC.org. That's the Survivalist and Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Go onto that website, look at what's on that website. These are the experts, medically speaking, where disasters are concerned. When I tell you that I have over 30 years experience in it, it's not something that I just woke up in overnight. This organization, for the last 26 years, we've been actively working not just in the Stuyvesant community, but in any community that requests our help. We will come and help you set up a volunteer ambulance service in your community so that you will have the medical training and the medical skills you need during a disaster. Because remember, in a disaster, all municipal services, city services, or government services are all going to where that disaster is. So your community is going to be left with nothing. So you really need to know how to save lives and what's necessary to prevent death and destruction until services return. So a volunteer ambulance corps in your community is a very, very good investment. And if you contact BSBAC.org, tell them that Brother Rudolph Muhammad told you about it, they will assist you, no matter where you are in the country.
Appreciate that. One thing we haven't touched on, you talked about it early in the segment, is being spiritually prepared. And I was wondering if you could share some of your background of how you, I know through different emergencies, definitely have strengthened your spirit, but just for the common listener, what could they do to kind of help strengthen their spirit to really understand what they are, so that they don't panic and don't suffer?
Well, I'll say it this way. For me, again, it's not a real. It is a ritual, but it's not a ritual. It's a lifestyle for me.
Correct.
Being a Muslim, it's just my way of life to stay in tune with my Creator. But again, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, Buddhist, Confucianist, agnostic, doesn't matter what you are. It's just understanding that there is a power in the universe that is greater than you and I, that is responsible for all that is, was, and will be, and understanding that that power, that force, is alive and well and doing things beyond our control and comprehension. And when you think of it that way, it humbles you to let you know what your responsibility is on this planet, but also let you know how what I don't know the word I'm looking for, but let me just say it this way. For all that you think that you are, because we're all legends in our own mind, but when you really understand your place in society and in things, then you realize that all that you know and all that you think you know, you're about to be like a nut on a elephant's behind, where the things are really concerned in the grand scheme of things.
That might even be a compliment. You know, I seen pictures where I seen pictures where they point to the Earth, and the Earth is a speck, and then they zoom out to the galaxy and zoom out to the cosmos, and they say you are here. Point to the rest of it, you see everything else, but it's good to basically you're saying keep it in perspective. You know that you're a part of something greater. And that is
prayer meditation. It helps to keep you focused. It helps to keep you centered. It helps to keep you grounded and staying humble and gracious for all that you have. And that's one thing about disasters. It will help you refocus on what really matters in life, and it helps to keep you, focused and gracious and appreciative of the things that you have, not so much focusing on the things you don't have.
Absolutely. One question I had, this is my final question for me personally. Like, there's certain things that people do day to day or on Saturday or Friday, like going to the club, that I find, you know, if a disaster hit, you know, at 11 or midnight, you know, you're 5 drinks in, you're not going to be ready to deal with it. So is there things that you would recommend people avoid, or places people avoid being as a regular habit, so that in the event something was to happen, that they won't be caught up in a bad situation?
I would tell, yes sir, definitely. I would say avoid being places where you become trapped. If a place doesn't have an exit or a way to get out of it, other than the same way you came in it, maybe that's not a place that you want to frequent. You should always look for an escape route in places that you frequent. You should always look for or be mindful of your surroundings. And anytime that you're going into situations, think your way through. Think through some scenarios. Well, what if this happens? What would you do? What if this happens? What would you do? You know, just be thinking individuals and realize that the universe is dynamic and it's changing every moment. It's never the same. And so your approach to it has to be the same way. Dynamic.
Exactly. And so we really appreciate that that knowledge and being able to bring these things into a greater perspective. And let me keep them on the line. And so we're about to transition into the last part of the show and really get into we got a lot of people messaging us about showing the theme song again, and we're really excited about, you know, just kind of being the, you know, the sixth month of us doing this show every week, and it's kind of everything's just coming together. And I know you always tell us about you've been telling us about like building a team and having a team, and now we have people on the back end doing the technical. Now we got people on the musical end making the theme music. So it's good that we have you know, we have our own team. You know, we're doing our part, but we're all, like you said, smaller pieces in this bigger thing. We want to thank you for coming into the show and being a part, and hopefully we can stay in touch.
Well, thank you. And anytime I can be of service, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I enjoy it, and thank you for the opportunity to reach the listeners, because this is my way to stay humble and to give back and to pay back or pay it forward to all the ancestors whose shoulders I stand on. Ashe.
And so we will definitely post where they can find you and get some of that information and some of the resources that you were sharing. And we hope you have a safe trip and get to your destination safely and securely.
Thank you.
Peace and power.
Peace.
And so that's just a small example of the resources that we have access to. And a lot of these people at this point, you know, 6 months in, we're not even reaching out to these people. A lot of these people are actually contacting us to be on the show because it's such a great resource, and because they see a group of people doing great things and serious about self-sufficiency and emergency preparedness. But I know y'all want to hear me talk. Y'all want to hear the Off the Grid theme song. So we're gonna play that again for y'all, and let us know on the message board what y'all think about it. And it's gonna be available for purchase. It's already available for purchase. Say prepared on tfolk.com. That's tfolk.bandcamp, and that's tfolk.bandcamp. And yeah, so we gonna, without any further shenanigans from myself, right to this Off the Grid.
Yeah. T-Fuck. So what you gonna do when the lights go out? Start my ammunition trying to fill a safe house. Running in the fast back, go escape route. Let's go. Speed ahead, can't hit the brakes now. Let's break down when the situation critical. And this shit hits the fan, resources at a minimum. Then what you gonna do if you ain't ready, yo? I ain't fucking with you. Remember this radio, bumping our tunes. Gotta make an intro, yeah, we on the move. The movement's in motion, our spirits in tune. Team Hope Tech, that's the crew. supplying no current, I'm catching the water every time the rain showers. Peace to the gods, our bodies will rock as soon as he rises, my mind on survival. I feel like a king, no lying, a good and battalion, simple the same. I built me a team, foundation of a king. When the shit goes down, you know the drill like Marines. Say your artillery, the bang on the beats. There ain't no peace when the shit still sleep. That's what I heard, and that's word to the shepherd. Fuck your belief. Shout out to all the green grade, DOTG, if you know what I mean. You better get ready, get ready. FOP, and my FOP. Coach Lee on the radio. Tune in live, Tuesday nights. Preparation for the urban nation. Trying to let you know a little motivation at T-Fo. We trying to get you over that grid. On our own shit, my power to the people. You better get ready, get ready. FOP, and my FOP. Coach Lee on the radio. Tune in live, Tuesday nights. Preparation for the urban nation. Trying to let you know a little motivation at T-Fo. We trying to get you over that grid. On our own shit, my power to the people.
I'm prepared for emergency. I'm lick first aid, minor surgery. Strapped up, masked down like a burglary. We can move with a different sense of urgency. Renovate the whole map construction. My team getting cold with the agriculture. Start a massive culture, no magnum ultras. Attack the mother, get acupuncture. We nation building, so I hate the millions. World War III, I don't trust civilians. Can't fool me twice, I'm too fucking brilliant. I'ma hustle different like Russell Wilson. Martial law in my neighborhood. The pigs, the bullies, they terrorists. Wanna pull me over while I'm bumping radio on my chariot. Israel inside of my stereo. We well aware of the scenario we on. Big face full of duct tape ammo. Alkaline water plus food from the farm. It's apocalyptic, but I'm optimistic about my position. We fix ourselves, no doctor visit. Murder new era, no obstetrician. Passionate, mind, environment. Carbon creatures on carbohydrates from the natural vine. Mother Earth provides. We on one accord, we organize. When the lights go out, your income or your social status won't mean nothing. So keep front, we see it coming. Good to go, hit the green button, let's ride.
You better get ready, get ready. FOP, and my FOP. Coach Lee on the radio. Tune in live, Tuesday nights. Preparation for the urban nation. Trying to let you know a little motivation at T-Fo. We trying to get you over that grid. On our own shit, my power to the people. You better get ready, get ready. FOP, and my FOP. Coach Lee on the radio. Tune in live, Tuesday nights. Preparation for the urban nation. Trying to let you know a little motivation at T-Fo. We trying to get you over that grid. On our own shit, my power to the people.
Peace and power. Hope y'all enjoyed that radio exclusive off the grid. Better get radio info, keep mindful people, Coach. Anyway, so that's gonna be available. It's available now for purchase on TFOAK, the Foundation of a King, TFOAK .bandcamp. So that's TFOAK.bandcamp. BAND.
They charging $20, right?
Camp $1. Somebody say $1.
$1. There we go.
Hey, somebody say $1. Y'all let me hang it. $1. Anyway, so that'd be a good way to support the artist, support the radio team, and yeah, we just really excited about that. So we wanted to give some of our our last round discussion about what our takeaways from this episode 26 is. It's a powerful episode. Doing something for anything for a period of time repetitiously, ritualistically, is a powerful thing, and the numbers really align today as well. So go ahead, Kojo Lee on the radio.
What really stood out to me is how a team is only as strong as its weakest link, and that for example, when things really go haywire, you're gonna go to depend on the people who are around you, and if the person around you doesn't know or they're panicking, it's two things: it can incite panic in you, or it can just not be beneficial to anybody. So he spoke a lot about the individual, which I've always understood society as a whole. When we talk about society, oh, this is happening, society, but there's a bunch of individuals that make up society. It's not just some inorganic substance that just causes problems to happen. It's a group of individuals, and so I think it's important that we understand that each individual, even if those who have seeing the Facebook post on this event, this episode. The one I was sharing was a Rumi quote, which says, I was clever, I wanted to change the world, but now I'm wise and I want to change myself, because we can't change the world unless we start right here. And that's what I really got from it, is it's the individual who has to go and do the work. And if you're not doing the work, then you're really being a detriment to your society.
Outside of all the practical advice that we got, the main thing that stood out to me was just appreciation for those first responders, the people who respond to those, disasters, whether it be man-made, technological, or natural disasters, just the first responders. Because as he said that, his whole team that he responded to 9/11 with, they're all dead except for him. So, we just need to appreciate, the people who make that sacrifice, or if that ultimate sacrifice is made where a life is lost. We just need to appreciate those people and uplift those people, because a lot of us, we're here today, and a lot of us just tread through life, day in, day out, go to work, get up, eat, like that kind of stuff, and we don't really appreciate life, and we don't appreciate those around us. But it's like, if they are killed in any situation, it's like it'll be very detrimental. So we just need to uplift those first responders, and appreciate those around us, and appreciate the good people and the good things in life.
I sure.
Exactly. And so what I got out of it, just to echo some of the things that you all have already shared, I'm definitely echoing what y'all said already, is that there are people that have been, this isn't a new thing, that there are people that have been doing this. It seems like we've been doing this for a while, to me, but it's just like he shared, he's been doing this for 30 years. Can you imagine being knowledgeable about emergency preparedness over all the things that have happened over these last 30 years, and all of the ways that this information has saved his life, or helped him, or helped the people that have known about this and been acting on this, influence so many different people. So it's really something to think about. All the things that have happened to even get to us, to get the people that even gave us the training, what got them into this, to get us that information. So it's pretty deep. One other thing that we wanted to share before we left, definitely got a lot of shout outs to give. We want to shout out Dr. Be Serious, because he's going to be on our show next week, March 3rd, and basically in preparation for his return to Detroit. And of course, Radio is on the team, will be in the house supporting. It's going to be in Detroit, touring. It's a Truth Bookstore. It's going to be a Truth Bookstore, and then also going to be at Mount Clemens, and that's coming to you in April. So we're giving you the sneak peek of Dr. B. Serious, who is a natural health specialist, and you can check out his website at elevationtime.com to give you a preview. But he'll be on the show via Skype, or via we'll be calling him next Tuesday. So that'll be a jam-packed episode as well. And it's also a Facebook event for that, which we'll have that stuff posted very soon for you. And just shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to T-Folk. Shout out to Team Hotep. Shout outs to Big Daddy on the tech team. Shout out to Dula D. Shout outs to Robert Cole, that came up all the way from Ohio, and the team.
Team Enlightenment.
Team Enlightenment. Again, shout out to T-Folk for that theme song. Go get that thing right now. tfolk.bandcamp. It's only $1. Give it a gift. This is the movement. What we say? The soundtrack to the movement. So that's all I got. Co-host Mindful B,
Info Keith,
and Cole Jolie
on the radio. Tune in live Tuesday nights. That's all we got. Peace and power. Hope y'all enjoy it. We're gonna play the theme song and be out of here. Peace.